right, so welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
This is Conversations with the Crawleys. We do conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentaries on some of our favorite shows. This one is all about Ready to Love, the latest episode of the Dallas Crew. If this is content that you enjoy, you know what to do by now. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications,
And share.
We'll see you in the comments. Consider becoming a member and checking out the merch store. All right, so there's a lot that happened in the Ready to Love world over the course of just from the last few days that we did our thing. Janelle, baby girl, you okay?
I'm trying to figure out who ticked her off. I want the lowdown of who decided to mess with her from what we're hearing.
Yeah, so we didn't necessarily pull any information into it, but you can see there's a lots of stuff where Janelle, it looks like, pulled up on Katarina at her apartment. And shout out to, who is it, Kojo and Crystal XO, who kind of broke some of that information. But there's a lot going on in Ready to Love world. But let's pick up with this episode. So as we started calling him last week, Red Flag Red.
Yep, Red Flag
Red Flag Red is gone. He's not ready to love. And so Tommy's like, all right, fellas, your turn, but focus on the non-negotiables. That's the assignment this week, is to get those non-negotiables out, because that's going to help you make your decision.
Right. If you're saying that this is my standard, this is what I want, and that's it, that has to be it, because you can't be changing what your non-negotiables are.
Right. That's the whole definition of non-negotiable.
Because one of mine was that my husband had to cook.
I can do a little something.
My husband has to cook. That was like, because you ain't going to tell me when I'm sick, I got to get out of bed and feed people.
You want some Chipotle?
I was like, we're not doing it. Time's tight. I need you to be able to chop something up. Make sure the kids get it. Because if I'm not feeling good, that was one. I was like, if you can't cook, I'm not interested if you can't cook.
Yeah.
So. And
you knew from the first date that I could cook. So.
Was it? That was our first date.
That was our first date. Yeah. I cooked spaghetti and garlic bread for you.
And that still was like, he don't have no money.
Yeah. And then she thought, well, is he cooking for me because he broke?
Right. I was like, on the first day, right? Because on the first day, you normally would take somebody out on the first day.
We were school in college. We were in school.
Yes,
right?
you were. We were at school.
I wouldn't listen. All right. Anyway,
let's move on. It worked out. I mean,
it worked out. 27
you didn't burn bread. If you couldn't cook spaghetti and burn.
And burnt the garlic bread.
And burnt the garlic bread. I'm like, okay, you can't cook. Yeah. So you did good.
So Herbert, Janelle, Katarina, and Quentin go on a pickleball date. And I don't know about this pickleball thing, because it is sweeping the nation. And it's ping pong tennis for grown-ups, I guess.
Right, yeah, without the table, which is fine. I don't mind trying something new, a new activity. So it looked interesting. I wonder how the food was, because it's saying chicken. I don't eat chicken.
And Herbert had a little difficulty. Looks like cutting his chicken, so I don't know if it was dry or what. They were like, "You all right with that chicken, bro?"
People throwing shade on the restaurant. They trying to get free publicity. Oh my God, I don't know. So you said we're getting one? Are we really getting one?
We're getting a
chicken and pickle.
I know we're getting a pickleball complex somewhere here in the valley.
Okay.
And then I think chicken and pickle is something I did see that we might be getting. So
okay, we'll see.
Yeah, so we might do a live.
We have to go next time we go back to Dallas.
Yes, that's what we're gonna go do.
Seems like we're gonna spend a lot of time in Dallas.
Yes, yeah. So Janelle shows up. Herbert and Q are already there talking, and basically, Quentin's like, I know that Janelle is feeling them both, and both of them, as far as Herbert and Quentin, are both feeling Janelle, but Quentin is like, I'm competitive, I'm gonna win.
Yeah, and Janelle's calling out Herbert on a date, like, I text you, what's up?
Yeah.
Because to me, she's giving me more of the feeling like she's bending more to Herbert than she is to Quentin, because she was like, well, if I had someone texting me back, I wouldn't have to be worried about someone else pressuring me.
Yeah, because that's the thing that she says. She's like, it's almost like she's trying to get Herbert to realize, look, if you make a play, it's a good deal. But I can't overlook the fact that I'm getting pressure on this side, and I like the pressure, right? And so it's really a challenge to Herbert to step your game up. If this is who you're interested in, pursue it, see where it goes, right?
But I think you also have to say what you want.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm really interested in you. And, you know, hurt my feelings a little bit. You didn't text me back.
Yeah.
You know, because we can play these games, but at the end of the day, everyone has to go ahead and make that choice.
Yes. So as far as they start talking about their non-negotiables, right? And Herbert's like, his non-negotiables is that he wants kids.
Yes.
So if you don't want kids, you're not on Herbert's radar.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Kat's like, in her little production interview, she's like, I'm either way. She's like, if he wants kids, I'm okay with that. But if he doesn't want kids, I'm really good with that.
Yeah, I think she's almost saying, like, I could have kids, but she's not totally sure if she wants to have children, which I can understand when you're in that space as well. I mean, you have to know you want to have kids.
But that's something that she's going to, if let's say Herbert and Katarina start really vibing, right? She's going to have to make that decision, or else it's going to be a waste of time.
And that's, she said that. She mentioned that too. She's like, I have to know if I'm going to be dating him that I want kids.
Right.
So,
Quentin said his non-negotiable was emotional intelligence.
That's a good one.
You got to have some emotional intelligence. And then Janelle says that for her, it's ambition and striving. She wants somebody that is not just going to be very passive, but someone that wants to get up and go get it, right? So then, and Quentin is like, yeah, he agrees that's something that he definitely is looking for as well. So then Janelle and Herbert break off and they are talking. And she's like, are you not into me because I'm not getting a call back? Is kind of what she's like. Because yes, that could be the message that's being sent.
But I think he was also indicating, like, look, this is the first time I'm dating multiple people at once. I don't date multiple people, hint, hint.
Right.
And he's like, you know, I'm reserved. So I would like to know, you know, what is his time frame? Like, did she text him like 3 days ago? He don't respond, you know, like, or was it like she texted and he didn't just text immediately back?
Or is it because I know one season it was something about they texted and they didn't text goodnight, and so that was an issue because they didn't text goodnight or text back goodnight. So
I don't know if I could date if I'm not a big text. You know, we'll text.
I know this,
but I'm not a big texter. I'm just not.
I know.
So I could not imagine, because you probably, like, if I'm not busy, okay. But if I'm like at work and you texting me and stuff, I'm like, oh boy, it's a lot.
Yes. This I know. All right. So then, and so Herbert does say, you know what? He can work to be better. He's like, okay, feedback taken, feedback noted. Let me see how I can figure that out and work better to do that. Now, what was interesting was Quentin and Katarina went over and had a conversation.
Right.
But I guess the emotional intelligence wasn't there because the show they didn't show anything of that. I mean, well, they showed them talking, but it was just like, oh, you competed against me. Oh, you're competitive. And then they went right back to Herbert and Janelle.
And I know with commercials, it's normally like it's 30 minutes.
But they've gone in past, they've gone back and forth, so you get an idea of both sides of the conversation, right? There's nothing that we could point to from Quentin and Katarina that was like, oh,
are they getting along? Right. Is there something there? Or are they trying to put it to the end? Because we've had them cut the season where we're like, where did this relationship come from?
Yeah, but even those were relationships that we never saw them date. This was a date that we don't even see them talking. There's no conversation.
We don't hear them talking.
So, all right.
Because we see them talking, but we can't hear.
That might be why Janelle was like, look. Janelle was pulling up. I'm not telling Janelle to pull up because Janelle will pull up.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, Chris and Aries have a date. She comes to his house. Supposedly. He hired a chef. I'll tell you why I put this supposedly here in just a moment.
Okay.
So he hired a chef to cook, right? So she has an 11 and a 13-year-old. He has a daughter. So for her, the non-negotiable is family, right? And for him, the non-negotiable is, look, you have kids. You got to have that good relationship with the father of your children.
Right.
I'm not coming into drama.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So then he gets a little emotional about his parents deceased, being deceased, and the love that he sees, or he gets that Aries has for her children. So then he brings up this painting, and this is why I say his house, because to me it's very suspicious if you have this picture that you are saying, this is my mother, this is one of my prized possessions, I want everybody to see it, and you pulling it from behind the couch.
I don't know. I know some people don't put stuff up. We can't say this not the man's house. I'm
just saying, look, I think he might have got an Airbnb or a spec home for a day, because it doesn't ring true to me.
Well,
right? If I'm bringing this and I'm saying this is my mama, I'm not pulling my mama from behind the couch.
I mean, but we got portraits from your mom's house when your dad died and she was moving out. It is not hung up.
But they're not my prized possession that I'm like, I gotta show you this.
I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe he haven't found the right spot. I'm not gonna say he doesn't live there, because you don't blame a couple people not living.
And they don't. Y'all,
that girl lived in that house.
That girl from
from Married at First Sight. That was her place.
That apartment was empty as I don't know what.
It doesn't mean she didn't live there. Lord Jesus.
She's squatters' rights. Okay.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow.
So that was Chris and Aries. I'm just saying. Unique and Marvin go on a date, and they did not get enough of the horses at the hoedown, so they went back horseback riding. She says that he is one of her top connections. They do a picnic.
Yep.
They kiss.
Yeah, they do. But he finds out one of her non-negotiables, she didn't want to have kids. And he was like, he need 2 more, and it has to be a boy.
He has to at least have a son. He's like, if you were good with having kids and one of them, and the first one was a son, then okay, I'll let you off the hook. We done.
I'm like, unless you can tell my genes I can have a boy, I just can't just be having kids, because she already had 2. So I don't blame her. It comes to a certain point where you just don't want to have kids anymore.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So then across town, Marie, Jessica, Kira, Sierra, Chris, and Herb do a group date. And let me just say this. I love how all of the cast members are saying, yeah, I arranged this group date. We already know by now. Y'all ain't arranging nothing. We know it's been this part of the what is it, the behind the curtain of the Great Oz. We know that y'all don't connect your own dates, right?
Right.
The production does it, but we'll go with that.
Well, and I like the idea. Improv is a cool way to find out about people and how comfortable they are and relaxed at things.
But this improv it's not an improv I've ever seen or ever done.
It was, well, because again, like you said, the production picked it.
Right.
So the instructor already had.
He had the script that he
had the script they had to follow. But, with improv, they do give you like a scenario. Typically, they'll give you a scenario and then you work off of that.
So, but it didn't work for me. Anyway, Chris and Jessica do their improv.
So critical tonight.
Okay, I'm being critical. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling. I'm looking at this like,
I'm not saying. I'm just saying we all know it's a setup. So why are you trying to make like it's supposed to be more when we know it's a setup? We know what they're supposed to talk about. So why are we like, oh my God, they did such a bad? It's a setup.
Because I'm seeing all the things. I'm sorry. I'm still. I don't want to say triggered because I'm not triggered, but I'm still like, okay, old boy pulling up his mama's painting from behind the couch.
Again, it's a reality TV show.
But it ain't real. It's a scripted reality TV show.
Exactly. And we know all
Yes,
reality
I
TV
know,
shows.
I know, so.
Stop trying to give them credit like they're supposed to be doing more than what they're supposed to be doing.
But here's the thing: even some of the other folks that cover Ready to Love are like, there's something that feels different about this season. This season just feels like.
I totally agree. And we're talking about, maybe there would have been some changes because we're going on our 8th
or 9th or 10th, whatever.
Right.
It is. Yeah.
And again, you already said OWN didn't put out all the photos.
Right.
So somebody's getting lax.
Yes. So anyway, back to the improv date. So we're off our soapbox for the moment. I may hop back on it. We'll see. Well, I know I'll hop back on it with something else that happened in this episode. All right. So anyway, Chris and Jessica, they improv leaving an accident. And she's immediately like, you should have listened to me. And he's like, maybe he had music turned up too loud.
Mm-hmm.
His non-negotiable was basically like, okay, I need a woman that's going to be, supportive or something to that effect.
No, I need a woman that can help resolve issues
and conflict. Yes.
And it was like she was just going to blame and not, like, okay, we could have both done something better to keep from the accident occurring.
Right.
The fake accident.
The fake accident. Herb and Sierra, I forgot where they were improving, but basically her non-negotiable.
They were at the hospital. So they're at the hospital because there's a sick loved one.
Yes.
There's a sick loved one. And he immediately goes about going to go see the nursery at the hospital. And so she appreciated because she wants to have kids right away.
Okay.
She does want to be in a committed relationship and be married. But the way that he was just as concerned about having children right away was drawing to her.
Okay.
See, I be paying attention.
Okay, good for you.
Look at me.
Look at you. All right, so then Marie and Kira, she asked him, did he watch church? First of all, she said watch.
Yeah. Because that's what we do after COVID. We don't go to church anymore. We watch it online.
These are coming from two people that have been in ministry for years. So he was like, yep, I sure did. Me and Bedside Baptist got along real well. Preacher Pillow was talking real good. And she was like, huh?
She was like, oh my God.
So for her, she wants someone that is God-fearing and someone that she feels can pour into her. And his is healthy, right?
And she said, oh, healthy.
Yeah.
She was throwing a little shade because they are people that can look a little big, but yet they don't have high blood pressure. They don't have diabetes. So you just can't look at someone and just assume they are unhealthy.
Right.
So, but she was making that like, oh, so we're talking, and he's like, yeah. And he talks about all the stuff, some of the stuff that we do, CMOS now. He's talking about different herbs and things that he puts into his body.
Yep.
Right. To take care of it. So he was like, because for our community, we have a lot of issues.
And we have to combat a lot of the things that we were taught as far as food and some of the things that we eat culturally. So,
yeah.
So then that was pretty much all of those as far as the group date there. Philip and Katarina go on a date. It's a really quick date as far as what we see or what we're shown, I should say. For the main thing for them is that they both are like, they're out of religion and they're into spirituality.
Yeah. And I think also they were talking about being ambitious, maybe as well. So they felt like they were on the same page.
Right. So Quentin is assigned a date with Unique and with Kira. He's assigned a date. Yeah, and they're assigned to go to a boxing club called Ding Ding, which
at first I thought it was his spot or where he trained or something until the guy came in and put on his headset and was training them. So I was like, oh, okay.
Ding Ding is actually a pretty interesting name.
It's a weird name.
Well, no, I mean, you think about it, Ding Ding, like the boxing.
Yeah,
So I get it. So they're doing it. Unique is looking like, why am I doing all this work?
She was working out.
Because Quentin's like, both of the ladies don't really work out as what they've told him, right? So Unique was like, looking like she was mad. She was like, And then bubbly Kira was over there bubbling.
She was bubbling.
So Kira makes up an excuse to go away so that Quentin and Unique can talk. They talk about, co-parenting, how that's working for her, healthy relationships, and then get into, okay, are you really healed from your past relationships? And she says healing, or the word healed, is subjective.
I understand.
I get what she's saying.
I get what you're saying, but there is a point where you're healed to the point that I feel like all the men was feeling a certain way when they spoke to her, that there was something under the surface that wasn't healed. And so, because even after they talked about it, she was like, I feel like I still gained something for myself, right?
She's like, there's still some things that may come up, and I'm like, and she's like, oh, I still need to heal in that area, right? So Quentin was like, I don't know if I got that in me.
He's like, I don't know if I have that time. And it's good to be aware of that.
Yes.
You don't want to start dating someone and then you find out you don't have the patience or working through their own insecurities or trust, or, you may do something or reach for them and they get triggered by something you do because you don't know. And that takes patience.
It does. It does. Then Kira comes back. Unique's like, all right, deuces, I'm out. So Quentin and Kira talk.
Yeah.
And she hits him with the, you look like a guy who likes white women. And he's like, no, that ain't it. I like my chocolate women. Well, have you ever dated white women? It's like, no.
And he said, no, I haven't. Now he said, Latinos.
Oh, so you like Latino women?
No, not as a preference.
Right.
So,
And then she says, because I have a lot of white girlfriends.
She does say that. And that is not a problem if you do.
Right.
That's what she was getting at by making that statement.
Right.
And I was like, we can tell. So, but I just think her approach to it, it really kind of it was off-putting to him.
Yes, because if first of all, there's a way to ask that question.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Without being accusatory, first of all.
Right.
Secondly, when I tell you that I haven't dated this and I like this, you come back and ask me, have I dated? And I say, yeah, I've dated that. You ignore the fact that I said I prefer this to now tell me, oh, this is what you like. No, I told you what I like. But the other question of have I dated, the answer to that is yes, I have, but that doesn't mean that that's what I prefer.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I get his perspective of why he was like, yeah, I don't want to talk to him no more. He was just like,
he just shut down.
He was like, nah.
He's like, I'm done.
Because the first thing she asked is like, so what do you like? And he was like, well, yeah, I was checking you out. I mean, so, but at the same time, then you come up with this other thing.
Yes.
It's just like, it doesn't make sense at all. So he was just like, okay, let's go.
Yep. Moving on.
Get out of this job.
So then the guys meet up at the lounge and, well, I'll just run down. Marie is feeling Jessica. Chris is feeling Aries. Christopher is feeling Kira. Marvin's like, I had a good time with Unique, but his strongest is Kat. Philip is feeling Kat. And then Herbert and Quentin both are feeling Janelle and Lee. Both of them, right? As far as who they're not feeling, most of the guys, as far as the name that came up was Kira, of course, from Marie, Quentin, and Chris. Herbert was like, Aries is cool. She's nice and all, but she don't want kids. And that's his non-negotiable. So he's like, that's for that reason and that reason alone. He's like, but if she wanted kids,
he'll give us some kids.
He'd help her with some kids. So Christopher also said Aries. Philip said Janelle just because she ain't responding to text. So I'm at least thankful that she's passive in that respect because we've seen that Janelle can be a little aggressive. And then Marvin, Marie, and Quentin are all saying Unique, and they're saying mostly because she needs to heal. So Marie and goes out on a date with Kira to deliver information, and Unique and Marvin goes on a date.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kira, you want to talk about Kira and that date?
Yeah, we can go ahead and get her out the way.
So, he's like, the guys had the conversation. Because one of the things Mario said was that in the lounge was, I'm active in the community. I'm an activist, what have you. And I want to make sure that the person I'm with is with me, is there with me and down with me, right?
Yeah, supportive.
And so in his conversation with Kira, he's like, just wanting to see kind of where you are with the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Are you cool with the cookout, or do you? I mean, that's
what she's gonna be at the cookout.
I don't know, but
she'll be at the cookout.
I'd be questioning what she bring to the cookout.
She'll be at the cookout. She's gonna bring the silverware and stuff.
Yeah, bring the paper plates. That's all I need.
And she'll grab a plate and sit down while she watch everyone play spades and dominoes.
And do the electric slide. Oh, she could at least.
Yeah, she did electric slide. She was a dancer.
She was a cheerleader.
So and then she was a little put off by that.
Yes.
Which, again, you got to have self-awareness. You're going to be put off when someone asks you if you're comfortable with the culture. You're like, yeah, I got cousins. No. I'm not talking about your cousin. You grown. I don't know how many times you see your cousin outside the cookout.
Right.
And on church on Sunday. I'm talking about naturally being comfortable, and so.
And because we, as Black people, we're not a monolith. We recognize that. We get that, right?
There's a variety of us
experiences and
experiences in life where we all are different, right, and at different levels. And so I was just a little surprised that she felt put off by that, because she was like, I can understand where you're coming from that, because she indicated, and we talked about this in a previous women's lounge, and you can go on and see the video.
Yeah.
She even said herself, she was the most white.
She was the closest thing to white.
Closest thing to white being there. Now, again, that is stuff that people put on us.
Right.
Because if we're African American and we speak well, we know how to articulate, and we're proper or whatever, sometimes our own kind would try to put, you're this or you're that.
Yes.
When that's not the case.
Yes.
So even for her own self, subconsciously, what's going on. So I was just like, all right, girl, don't be upset. But at the same time, you're going to ask a Black man, you prefer white women, because I just assume you do. Yep, I can tell. That's just off-putting as someone telling you you're not comfortable.
It was extremely hypocritical for her to be like, oh, that's disrespectful. But then she has started the conversation and made, and I hate to say accusatory, because it's just
assumption. She was assuming
that he prefers white women over women of color, right? So to me, it's like you don't have, here's that word, you don't have that emotional intelligence to recognize what you're doing that falls in line with what you're now being offended by.
Right. And then also, this is not the first time that came up about Black men dating outside of their race.
Right. It was a big thing in Miami.
It was a big thing in Miami too as well. And I think those are the questions that we have. But at the same time, white people are having the same question about people dating out of their race.
Because I'd be interested if somebody asked Kira, so are you comfortable with dating Black men?
That's what I would have asked if I was Quentin. That's how I would respond. What about you? Do you prefer to date white men? Because it seemed like it.
Because if we're making assumptions, if we're gonna let assumptions fly,
right? If I'm just gonna assume,
I think that would be a valid assumption.
Could be. It could be. Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right. But he didn't, and so again, it's just having that awareness when you're going out on dates. You just can't assume.
No.
Because of what you've seen, even in your past, that means that all men or whatever you saw in the past is going to be the same.
Exactly. So getting to the dismissal, because I told you there was something else. So yeah, Unique meets up with Marvin, and he's kind of like, I'm feeling you, but let me keep you at arm's length right now because I'm about to send you home.
I'm about to send you home, girl.
So basically, the main thing for her is, as many of the guys said, she's just not ready because she needs more time for healing.
She needs some more time. You know, she says, I feel like I'm ready. And again, she won't know how ready she is until she's in a relationship, obviously. But I hope that she continues to see and work through things.
Yeah, because
while she's dating.
Yeah, because it's a matter, I think, for this environment, guys and on both sides, right? If someone is still needing healing, this isn't the environment to see if that, because if there's somebody that you're interested in, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe they need some more healing, you really get that on the one-on-one basis.
You do.
You don't get that in a group kind of thing where they're dating several people.
You do.
And then also in this environment, because you got to make some decisions about who you want to move forward with. Mm-hmm. And I don't have the time to figure out if I can move forward with you because you're wanting to heal, while I'm still trying to figure out if I want to move forward with you because I just want to see if I want to move forward with you.
Yeah, because there's two things there. You have the one thing where it's more comfortable because you are dating multiple people and you can group date. Right. A lot of times that person feels comfortable because if they're coming out of spots where an individual has made them unsafe, dating in groups would make sense for them.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah.
And so now that she's trying to explore those feelings without even having to be singled out, it kind of helps her feel it out without having to feel like she's the center of attention. Right. But again, we've seen that in past seasons. We had one woman, she was a widow, you know, so I feel they do leave the journey earlier than anyone else, no matter if it's a male or a female.
Yeah.
But again, I think if she's learned something and feel like at some point maybe she was triggered or how she was responding, right? Because we do change every time we have an experience. Right. But we have to realize that we're making it good changes.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, look, that was it for this one. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what we missed. And then also check out, we did an interview with a good friend of ours, a couple that I've known for 30, 40 years now. I don't say 40 years, but 30, 35 years or so. And we called it Engaged in Emergency, or Emergency and Engaged, whatever. And I'll put it up here in the link here. But it was a great conversation just about some of the things that they went through even before they got married, as far as like a health emergency that really could have just taken things a lot way left.
Could have gone a lot different.
Yeah. And so that's one of the things that we're doing. And then we're going to have more content like that as well. So definitely let us know your thoughts. Definitely check that video out. And again, continue to subscribe, like, and share. And we'll see y'all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.